welcome back. Joining us for our last conversation, we have our friends from the FFB to give us a little bit of a scoop on the Belize versus Nicaragua game this weekend. Joining us on set, we have Ms. Yasmin Juan, who is the Communications and Marketing Director for the FFB, and of course, Marlon Quillen, who is who's an executive member of the FFB. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you
morning.
for having us.
So we've been talking sports all morning. It seems that was the trend for today, and we just had the Minister of Sports come in, and he was talking about filling up these stadiums, right? Filling up the different spaces for sports. How has the FFB been able to attract people to come to the various games?
Okay, so first of all, the football still remains the number one sport in Belize.
Yeah.
So it's in the hearts of all Belizeans. So it's not really a hard task trying to get people out. Yeah. But you know, we're still ensuring that everybody from north to south, east to west knows about this upcoming game on Saturday. So this Saturday we have a really big game at the Football Federation of Belize because it's a World Cup qualifier. So we're on that road again, the road to the World Cup. And we're playing against Nicaragua. So that's a really big game. We are really excited. The team has been in camp. The training has been going on. Training has been intense for the guys. But we're excited because it's going to be a really good game and a lot is on the line. So we know that the team is going to go out and give their very best.
I look at the roster for the players this time around, and perhaps with the exception of Woodrow West, who is one of the well-known players, I see that there are a lot of new names being added to this particular roster. Let's talk about this particular team and, of course, the preparation that has been ongoing for them to face Nicaragua.
Yes, what the coaching staff has done is they've been trying to incorporate more of the youths into the national team. Of course, it's not a given that they'll make it.
Yeah.
When you look at the coaching staff, looks at the players and their capacity, they bring them to camp, and then they have to earn their position. But at this moment, the mixture is 1/3 veterans and 2/3 youths, with 7 of the players coming from abroad.
Okay.
So just to add with what Mr. Quillen was saying, something and an approach that the Football Federation is now taking is that we started our student athlete scholarship program where the Football Federation of Belize is investing to find scholarship opportunities for students abroad. So the reason why we're doing this, it's actually twofold. The Football Federation of Belize is invested in the holistic development of the individual, which means that we want to ensure that they have an educational background, but we also want them to go out and get that professional athletic development and training. So they go out, they get a scholarship, they're training every single day, they're probably on a very strict meal plan, they go to the gym, they're training with a team. So a lot of these students who are out there traveling are now back with the national team. So we're seeing the results of our investments that we made. So
that was going to be my next question, because you said it's a tedious selection of who joins the team. So how do you, I guess, I don't want to say rank, but how do you select them after they've now come back and joined the team?
Well, that's entirely up to the coaching staff.
Okay.
Each game, they look at each game individually. So they have certain needs for certain countries that they're playing.
Yeah.
And that's how because we have a pool of about, I'd say, almost 40 players that they can choose from.
Yeah.
And then they choose the best 22, depending on the type of opponents we will have.
Let's talk about this.
But I just want to say, I just want to say that the investment with the scholarship program is really paying off, because every time these players come back home to represent the country, you can see the development, you can see how they have improved.
Yeah.
And so we're really excited about that project.
So, as the umbrella organization for football in the country, let's talk about the state of the sport and perhaps what's going on at various levels within football in Belize. Perhaps you can share.
Okay, so our programs really start at the grassroots levels, which really the age would be, I think, 5. So we start at 5 to 10, so that's our grassroots football, where we just introduce the game and we have kids falling in love with football, keeping them physically engaged, of course, but still doing something positive and meaningful We then move on to our youth programs where we have tournaments running countrywide in the U15, U17 category, both male and female. We have the amateur tournament, and we have the Premier Women's League happening right now also. So we target probably every single age from a child knows how to kick a ball, and we go right up to the amateur and the Premier Leagues.
And then we have the football for schools program too.
We have football for school programs, which is a partnership between the Football Federation of Belize and the Ministry of Education, and we also have Generation Amazing. So football and the FFB, we have a lot going on, but we ensure that in every single program that we do, we are also targeting and involving girls and women in sports.
At all age levels.
What's the buy-in from the communities, from the public? Because as we've been talking about, football is alive and well in Belize. Do we support it as Belizeans? Do we come in? Do we pack that stadium?
I think there's room for more. So the people are definitely supporting. It's definitely in the hearts of Belizeans, but we still want to encourage more Belizeans to come out, to bring out those flags, to go out in their communities when the grassroots activities are happening and support the local tournament, support the local clubs, because one thing that the FFB needs and one thing that all the teams out there need is more support, whether it's more moral support, more financial support. And so we always want more people. There's always room for more, so feel free to reach out if that's something that they want to do, to reach out, to get involved. If it's that they want to give their time as a volunteer to work with a local club in their community, then reach out. Because like I said, at the FFB, we look at the holistic development of the individual, but also we want to continue using sports, specifically football, as that vehicle for change in Belize, to keep our youths, our young men, our young women physically involved, positively engaged.
How do you look at your opponent, perhaps within the ranking of regional football? I'm speaking specifically to the Belize-Nicaragua game that's upcoming. Where does Nicaragua stand, and how formidable an opponent is that particular team when it comes to Belizeans playing against them?
They are a formidable opponent. They are ranked, and I'm not sure what the ranking is right now, but they are ranked a little higher than us. And they actually have players that play in Europe.
Wow.
So we need to really get our fans out for this match.
I mean, yes, Nicaragua is a formidable opponent. I think that the last time Belizeans came out was that Guatemala-Belize game, but that's just because we have bad blood as a nation, right? We want to come out and support. That's the same energy that we want at all the games. So even though Nicaragua we don't have beef with Nicaragua like that, for that moment we could pretend.
And then it's not only a match, it's an event.
Yes.
You know, so we have vendors out there, we have music, so people can come from early, they could have food, they could have drinks.
Yeah, the FFB Stadium is a really nice facility. Is it open for anybody to come in and practice?
So we have a system where we do have the stadium up for rental. However, because it's the only certified stadium in the facility, we do try to reserve it specifically for matches. But definitely, if they do want to rent it, they can reach out to the Football Federation of Belize and book a rental.
What is the regimen like for these guys in training, Marlon, in terms of perhaps a day at camp? What do they go through?
Well, they're up right now. They're on a field training that we wanted to bring some of them here today, but they have to train. So they get up in the morning, they train, then they have breakfast, then they have ice baths, rest, lunch, then video sessions, rest, and then back onto the field.
How long have they been preparing for this match?
They've been together since last weekend. But the format has changed.
Okay.
Before, we used to try to get them in camp a month before or so. But now, before you come to camp, you have to be in shape.
Yeah.
It's no longer, you're going up against professionals, and we want you to be as professional as possible. So you have to maintain your diet, you have to maintain your physical activities, but when you come to camp, when you're called, you're ready. You know, it's not that you come to camp and we want to try to get you in shape and all. No.
Yeah.
Is this the first regional game for some of these players?
I think we have one player who it's going to be his first official match.
Okay.
But most of them have had that experience. We had earlier this year, we had the Belize versus Puerto Rico game. We had two friendly games against them where we won one and we drew one. So a lot of the younger players got that experience and that exposure, that tryout, and the test the waters
Yes.
in that match.
And most of these players have been on the youth national teams before. So they're used to the type of regimen that they have to, the training and the traveling and all that. So it's nothing new to them.
This may be perhaps an old observation or criticism that has been brought against Belize's national team. I say that because, as I mentioned earlier, there are new faces, new names, and what have you. But I think one of the observations was that for a while we were using the same players repeatedly for these international matches, and so people were asking, okay, don't we have perhaps a broader talent pool to draw from in terms of representing the Jewel?
I'm really glad you brought that up because I don't know if it's a generational thing or what, but you call out these players to camp, and the young ones, and I, for the lack of a better word, is entitlement, you know, not because you're being called to camp. You're a young player, you're scoring goals, you're doing well in the local league, means that you will automatically make the national team.
Yeah.
You have to come to camp and earn your spot. And in the past, the veterans, they had a better work ethic. They were more, you know, their whole psyche was different.
Yeah.
But now some of the younger players are now starting to adopt it, realizing that, hey, I was on the last call-up, but this time I'm not there.
Yeah.
So this is the
Well,
difference.
I think it's, I think also what Isani, I'm just gonna piggyback off of your question, but that kind of resonates with the fan base as well. I'm not sure if it's something where you have to introduce and reintroduce these players to the Belizean community, because for so long, for example, you said Woodrow, they play for, you know,
For as long as you've known
for
him,
as long
right?
as I've known him, he's played football, and it's great to have a veteran, but we've been saying we need more people, we need more people. You give us more people, and then we say, who that? Right? So how do you introduce them to the Belizean
always
community?
whenever we have a game coming up, we always have a press conference where we introduce the players, we introduce what club they play with, we introduce where they're from, because another cry that we also hear, because I also manage the social media platforms for the federation, so I get all the feedback. So we heard the cry that they wanted younger players, and so that's what we're doing. We're integrating younger players into the national team programs, and we found a way to make it work. But we're also ensuring that, like you mentioned, that people know these players. And so this week we're also going to be doing a series of social media videos with the players to ensure that we do that introduction. And then we also have a press conference plan. We do media rounds. Unfortunately, we did want them to come, but coach said, definitely, you're not taking my players. They need to be in training today.
Which makes sense.
Which makes sense, definitely. But we ensure that people get to know these new faces. But I also ensure that the players understand the weight that they carry when they're a national team player. I ensure that I have that talk with them and tell them, you know, you're role models. So ensure that you carry yourself as such when you're out there, and we're gonna help you build that brand as an individual, but you also need to do your role and ensure you market yourself also.
I just want to add to that, at times you won't see some of the better, or I shouldn't say better players, but the players that are doing well at the local levels, and some fans might wonder, well, why isn't that person there? Why wasn't he given an opportunity? But the player profile isn't specifically based on how talented you are or how good you are doing on the field. It's off the field as well. Your attitude, your behavior. So at times, some of these players are left off the list.
I mean,
I'm glad that you mentioned what takes place off field as well, because when we look to our athletes, we're not just looking for what they're capable of doing in terms of their performance on the court, on the field, on the pitch, or wherever. We're also looking to them as model citizens, right? Especially when you're looking at children who admire these guys and these ladies for what they're doing in sports. You also have to set a certain example for them to be able to follow. Let's talk a bit about that
Social media policy.
with you guys. Josh.
Yes, so we have integrated a social media policy, for example, with our national team players, with our staff, with everybody, because we want to ensure, like I said, the Football Federation of Belize really and truly is a brand. And the players are the ones who help make this brand a reality. So we want to ensure that we give them the proper education to be aware of what they're posting, to be aware of how that may or may not affect them or impact them. But also we're doing this year specifically, we're doing much more community outreach activities. So last week we actually went to play bingo with the folks at Help Page, and so we took some of the guys there. Everybody loved it. They enjoyed it also. So it helped them also because we had all these people telling them, you know, we have feed off our positive energy because we old people have lots of that. And it was just a good moment of, you know, they were relaxing, but they were also giving back. We want to do more of that. This week they're going to be going out to some schools also. Last week a school also visited the team at the Football Federation of Belize, and on their own they said, you know what, I think this is a good opportunity to tell them to stay in school and to tell them that they need to listen to their parents, and they came up with that on their own, which was admirable of the guys. But it was nice. It was nice seeing the students ask them for their autographs. They were signing their uniforms, and I'm like, I hope you got your parents' permission, because when I reach home and then the shirt sign up, I don't know. But it was nice, and it's a good opportunity, like you mentioned, for the guys to give back, because they are role models, and they do have so much young boys and girls looking up to them and wanting to follow in their footsteps.
And that's the beauty of sports, right?
Yeah.
You have a lot of you have a lot to ride on your shoulders when it comes to these kinds
A
of
lot to aspire to as well.
Yes, and you have to be able to walk the walk, talk the talk, all the things. But as we are coming down to the wire, we want all Belizeans to come out. This is going to be a big match. It's the first match for the road to the World Cup.
For Belize, yes.
For Belize. And so we want everybody to come out. So kindly tell us when, where, tickets, how they can get it, all of that.
Okay, so the match is kicking off this Saturday night at 6 p.m. right at the Football Federation of Belize in Belmopan, the official home of the Jaguars. So kickoff is at 6 p.m. Gates open at 4. We will have music from 4 to about 10. So it's a Saturday night. We will have drinks. We will have foods on sale. So pre-sold tickets are already on sale. So pre-sold tickets are $20, and it's going to be $25 at the gate. And they can be purchased at the Football Federation of Belize countrywide. At the Football Federation of Belize headquarters office in Belmopan, or at our regional offices countrywide. So we take this opportunity to invite all Belizeans to come out to wear their jerseys. We will also have jerseys and Jaguar t-shirts on sale at the game. But yeah, come out. We want to hear that roar of the Jaguars with all the fans cheering on the Jaguars to victory.
Is there anything else you guys would want?
As a way to thank, I would like to encourage companies. Some of them do it already, but we would like to see it happening more, whereby companies purchase tickets and raffle them for their staff, among the staff members. Yeah. So I would like to encourage
Very
that.
nice. I don't ever bring tickets for Lido, so I can't help you there. But Yashmi and Marlon, thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Belize is going to be playing Nicaragua this Saturday at 6 p.m. Join. I hope I can. Well, yeah, I can make it. I live right there.
You live in Belmopan.
I live in Belmopan. There's no reason why I shouldn't.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock on the dot. Get there on time, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We are going to take our final break, and we'll be back for a wrap up. Don't go away.